channel. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the month of June 2025 has in store for you. Of course, any information that you may be looking for will be listed in the description, so just check there. And we're going to start off with the oracle cards, and then we'll go into like an 8-card spread to kind of see what's going on more in depth. All right, Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placement. What is the energy around them? What's the energy around my Leos? Okay, so first cards we have generosity, and we have sadness and isolation. So, oh, I'll pull a third one. We have you are your own words. So for the month of June, I think that there's going to be a generous gesture that is given to you, or some sort of generous gift, generous act that someone could do for you, or you could do this for someone else. And it's important that in you giving this generous act, or you giving this gift to someone, that you're giving it from a place of just giving it and releasing it, not holding on to the emotional weight or the emotional currency of whatever this gift may come with, or this favor or this help that you may extend, to where it can then throw your energy off. And also be mindful of individuals being generous to you. Despise the free lunch is that quote, I believe, from the 48 Laws of Power, where someone's generosity, quote unquote, could be cloaked as a way to kind of rope you into control. So be mindful of this, okay? But outside of that, with sadness and isolation, some of you guys may have spent a little bit too much time to yourself. You could be realizing that the more you isolate, the more that you could be in your feelings. Nothing could be inherently wrong at the moment, but isolation could breed this energy of maybe ruminating on things that do make you sad, or could make you feel away. And you got to be careful in terms of how you spend your time in the month of June, especially if you find yourself just accidentally doing this. Also, I think that there's certain things that you want to hold yourself to in the month of June, like promises you want to keep to yourself. I'm not going to overspend. I'm not going to talk to this person that I know is no good for me. Whatever guidelines you have basically set for yourself, or want to set for yourself. This month, you could have moments where you are tempted to go back on your own word. And your ability to kind of stand in what you say you will and will not do is your ability to kind of step in self-love. Like, we talk about self-love all the time, but self-love is being able to say, like, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z, and mean it. And also, when you say it to other people, you mean it too, to where people don't think that your word is just something to play with, because you say one thing and then later on it's like, oh, well, I told you I wouldn't allow you to do X, Y, and Z in my presence, but nah, it's okay, you can do it anyways. That reinforces a behavior in people to not take us seriously. And also, we end up not taking our own self seriously when we go back on our own words about what we say we will and will not do. So I think you guys are just trying to stick to what you say you will and will do this month, which is good. What's going on with my Leos? Just the general overall energy for them for the month. I have the Judgment card. So there's certain epiphanies that you're having during this month right off the bat. Certain realizations, understandings that you're tapping into, okay? There could be someone who's popping back up in your life, and that could be triggering an epiphany moment. Like, okay, this ex pops up, and it's like, oh, I didn't realize that when I dated this person, this was, you know, the pattern that we had. Or I didn't realize when I dated this person that, you know, maybe this fit the version I was before, but not the version I am today because of X, Y, and Z reason. Or you could realize that this person may not change. This realization looks different for each and every one of you, but it's like an epiphany comes with either someone resurfacing, or a subject resurfacing, or you just coming to a state of awareness naturally. I think that you also could be calling someone out. Calling someone out in regards to not keeping their word. Okay, you could be called out to some degree, okay? But there's definitely some energy of like laying it all out on the table. You could be laying it all out. Now, going into career and finance, I got the Hierophant, which talks about committing yourself to a bigger goal and committing yourself to consistency. So for my Leos who have a business, you could be trying to commit yourself to just the overarching plan, not trying to get so caught up in the results of how things play out per se, but more so sticking to the plan itself. Also, there could be certain higher ups that you could be considering either going to HR about, or there could be certain concerns, period, that you're thinking about going to higher ups or HR about, outside of like just authority issues. Okay, this could be like your schedule or your pay or money that they owe you and they still haven't paid you. For others of you, some of you guys actually could be going to school now, and if you really do commit yourself and buckle down when it comes to your schoolwork, you can see a lot of like positive results around that. You could have questions about what you have committed yourself to, whether or not it's for you, especially if you do feel like you're led into a path of either helping other people, giving advice, giving wisdom. Some of you could be feeling like that's more so your calling, to be, you know, a spiritual coach or to be a therapist. Okay? Or someone that people can consult to. I also see a mentor or somebody who you could meet that ends up really helping you in your career. This could be like a business mentor where it's like you're in real estate and then you meet somebody who's like really good in that field and they give you some really good tips. Now, going into what I see with love specifically, I have the Strength card in reverse. So for some of you who are single, you could feel like you're not yourself right now to be dating. You could want to focus mainly on your just sense of confidence, your sense of willpower, pouring into other endeavors in your life that maybe dating isn't really a focal point for you. Not saying you're not talking to anybody or don't have like people who are interested. It just may not be a focal point because you just want to get to your right energy, which there's nothing wrong with that. With the Strength card in reverse, you all, I hope you guys can still see me. Sorry, y'all. I just got like a random phone call. Can you guys still see me? Let me make sure before I continue. Because that just threw the whole live off. Okay, let me make sure. Let me make sure. Okay, I think you guys can still see me. All right, so let's continue. So going into the reading. So yeah, so with the Strength card, this talks about your personal strength and your overall well-being. I think that that's going to be a focal point for you guys. And that's going to be your main priority. For my Leos who are in a relationship already, an existing relationship, you could feel like this person is really testing your sense of patience. Whether that's like doing things that maybe you've already expressed to them that you don't like, or that could be an issue for you, or they just don't take in consideration of what could be your issue with them in terms of, you know, cheating, or them letting their anger fly off the handle, or them, you know, not communicating effectively. So you could lose maybe your cool a bit when it comes to things that you have been trying to manage or navigate in your relationship that don't really seem like it's being managed by your person. Now, going into the possible, no, we'll go into advice. What's the advice for my Leos that they need to hear for June? So with the Star card, the advice is to remain optimistic and hopeful in your direction, in what you're doing. Because if you lose this, you lose that desire, that willpower to keep going. Also with the Star card, promoting healing in your life. And I don't mean this in the sense of like, oh, I'm healing just to heal. I mean this in the sense of like healing the narrative. When I talk about healing, I talk about healing the narrative that we have concocted in our mind. And this looks like, you know, ditching the phrases like, I don't want to waste my time, I'm tired of being disappointed, maybe I need to be alone forever. Ditching those phrases and leaning into understanding your situation. Because whenever we lean into those phrases, we're not choosing understanding. We're choosing, I've been hurt, I'm a victim to life, nothing can change. And we got to take our victimization, or we got to take that victimization energy out of situations, or we'll never be able to get to the point of love or happiness by saying, you know, this is just the story I'm going to always be accustomed to, and I can just expect doubt in, or not doubt, but I can expect disappointment behind every door. No, that is not the case at all. We are in control, we are victors, and we can heal, is the narrative. So your spiritual team wants you to promote this in your focal point during the month of June. Now, possible challenge you may run into, I have the Wheel of Fortune. So the challenge may be things around you changing, not because you did anything wrong, not because other people are doing anything wrong, but events around you, circumstances, life could be changing, where, you know, things at your job may be evolving, where they're getting bought out by another company. So now things are changing in the culture of the business, or things are changing with certain family members around you. So they may not be the same in terms of how they communicate, or certain friends. And the challenge is being okay with that, being okay with understanding that life, there's changes. And that doesn't mean that you're on the wrong path or that you're doing anything wrong. It just means that you have to constantly adapt. And we have to remain in that energy of adaptableness. Another challenge could be just wanting things to change. There could be outer things, things outside of you that you can't influence, that you would like to be different. And the more that you put a focal point on trying to change those things, the more that it becomes a challenge to you. An example of this is like wanting to change someone's perspective for the better. That's a beautiful thing that you do want to encourage, you know, a different perspective in another individual. But what ends up happening is you sacrifice your own peace of mind trying to give someone else that. Another example of this is like trying to change the narrative in terms of dating for someone, to make them, you know, believe that love is still genuinely there, and trying to, you know, love them into understanding that there's opportunity. Only problem is you're going to be neglected into a space to where you don't even have enough love to pour into yourself at that point. So recognizing the traps in wanting to change things that you can't change outside of yourself, and how you kind of go into a self-sacrificing mode to where you do yourself more detriment than good in those circumstances. Now, what to watch out for or be aware of coming into the month of June for my Leos. I have the Knight of Swords. So what to watch out for or be aware of coming into this month. Watch out for a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius individual who could be very scattered. Doesn't even have to be an air sign. This could just be someone who's very scattered in the way that they communicate, in the way that they think, and they choose to bring you along in that confusion. Or they confuse the crap out of you because they are so scattered. Another example of this, or another thing that I'm seeing with the Knight of Swords, is someone who's very brash with their words. Like they just fly off the handle saying anything whenever they're angry or upset, and then they want to walk it back later. Okay, you really do need to be aware of someone who does this, because they could be giving you glimpses of what they're actually thinking and what they're actually feeling. It's just they could base mode hold themselves back from saying these things when they're not angry, because it's a lot easier to do that versus when you're in the heat of the moment and you're angry and you're just saying what is in your subconscious. So be mindful of someone who says some really disgusting things whenever they get a chance to kind of project their anger, because you could be getting some glimpses of truly what is going on in their psychology. Another thing you want to be aware of is your own scatteredness. If you find yourself just scattered in terms of focus, where it's like you're focused here, you're focused there, you really want to get things moving, so you can find yourself scattered everywhere in terms of things you have to take care of and whatnot. This could lead to feeling like you're running or you're spinning your wheels, where there's not enough progress happening because there's too much attention everywhere. Okay, where we focus most of our attention is where things grow, and we can't do that if it's scattered everywhere. So focused action is what's needed. Now, what to avoid in the month of June, Leos. We have the Five of Wands. So this is somebody who wants confrontation or conflict, or people, period, who could have just this aggressive, defensive, I want to argue, I want to come at you energy. Okay. You also want to be mindful of the competitiveness that could exist within a workplace, or could exist, shoot, within a relationship, family relationship. So be mindful of other people also trying to project their issues onto you to deal with them, where it's like, okay, now I'm having issues, so now you're the problem, you know? Now, outcome for this month. What's the outcome for my Leos for the month of June? I have the Six of Pentacles. So the outcome of this month for you, you could get very intentional about where you're pouring your energy, okay? This is like recognizing I've been giving. I haven't been receiving much back. And you're seeing how that is such a detriment, especially when it comes to your time. You could get very particular about how you're spending your time, who you're spending your time with, what you're spending your money on. Okay, some of you who work a job where it's like, I got to pay bills, I got to handle responsibilities. Some of you will be transitioning into either like gig work or a stream of income or a new job that's going to allow you to have more of a balance in terms of how money's coming in versus how it's going out. But yeah, this is what I see. I hope that I did give you insight in regards to what this month has in store. If you enjoyed, definitely thumbs up the video, subscribe so that you never miss a beat, and I will see my Leos in the next one.